When it comes to the topic of innovation, it's often tempting to talk about the cool, shiny, new things. We usually like to talk about what we've created, what we've achieved, our successes. But in reality, innovation is not easy. And doing it well is actually really hard. There's also no silver bullet, no single tool or methodology that is the answer to business innovation. Like many complex challenges, it requires a coordinated approach, a portfolio of activities to build a systematic capability. Given you are a friendly audience, or at least I hope so, I thought I'll take a different approach today and talk about some of the challenges, some of the learnings that we are experiencing on our journey. I'll start with how conflicted we seem to be when it comes to the topic of corporate innovation. We're a big company, but we want to behave like a startup. We want long-term transformation, but we want to be quick and agile and demonstrate immediate results. We want governance and risk control, but we also want to be entrepreneurial and have creative freedom. So let me elaborate a little on some of those conflicting forces. Start with patience versus speed. Corporates, similar to startups, often get caught up by the overnight success myth, thinking that transformational ideas become profitable services at scale in a very short period of time. But in reality, it takes years and years of hard work to get to that point. So how do we address that conflict? Here are a few practical things we can do. First one is to adopt what's called think big, start small, scale fast mindset. And that comes from the Lean Startup methodology. What allows you to do is to still focus on those big, longer-term transformational opportunities, but by breaking it down, starting small and moving fast, you're able to test your hypothesis as you go with customers and demonstrate gradual progress along the way. Another thing to consider is creating a portfolio mix. What do I mean by that? So aim to focus on those medium, longer-term opportunities, but also be sure to demonstrate some immediate benefit for the business. Now, this benefit can be something like a positive customer interaction. It doesn't have to be the next billion-dollar opportunity. And lastly, educate. Educate and set the right expectations on timeframes and on results, particularly with senior management or boards if relevant, so they don't expect an overnight success. Next, I want to touch on ideas versus impact. We see in the corporate innovation space initiatives like ideas management platforms, hackathons, pitch nights, all aimed at engaging the broader business in the ideation process. Now, whilst it's great and important to engage the broader business, there are some gotchas there to be aware of. First of all, the act of generating ideas is not innovation. Ideas become innovation when you implement them in a way that generates value. Also, asking people to come up with ideas, but then not giving them the tools and the capabilities to assess them and take them forward can actually be more damaging than helpful. It's also not about the cool space. There is that notion that if you build a funky space, put some cool technology there, call it a lab, get some smart people to sit there, then magic will happen. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't. Don't get me wrong, the cool space can certainly contribute to creativity, but it requires a more fundamental change in mindset and ways of working for it to be effective. It requires a more structured framework to be able to take those ideas, test, iterate, and build business solutions in a customer-centric way. Now, we've built a great lab in Melbourne, and we do have some cool technology there and some very smart people. And in the last couple of months, we've also invested in establishing the innovation capability and function to allow us to accelerate those growth opportunities with the business. Another thing to consider, particularly when we talk about labs, is that balance between technology push and customer pull. What we're seeing is if labs in particular are too tech-focused, there is that tendency to jump straight into solution mode without really taking the time to understand what is the customer problem we're trying to solve. On the other hand, if they're purely design-led, they may lack the momentum to move it forward beyond those post-it notes on the wall. So finding the right balance of starting with the customer needs, but then injecting the right technology capabilities, particularly in the solutioning phase, is critical. Let's talk about messy versus structured. Adopting what's called entrepreneurial management is another key way to driving innovation. What is it? What we've talked about, starting with the customer, iterating, testing, building solutions in a customer-centric way. Now, for large organizations that have complex structures like policies, procedures, governance, entrepreneurial management can seem quite messy at times. By the way, people talk about intrapreneurship and corporate entrepreneurship. But according to Eric Ries, who is the father of the Lean Startup movement, corporate entrepreneurship is regular entrepreneurship. And despite what many people think, entrepreneurship is a management discipline that can be applied to any company size, really. So you've adopted new ways of working, ready to innovate with the business? Problem is, the business has not yet adopted your ways of working. And that's where you come face to face with some hurdles. And I'll give you some examples. Customer engagement. So, true to our new ways of working, first thing we want to do is go and talk to customers, understand their problems. We go to our sales teams, say we want to talk to customers. But you've got nothing to offer them, no product, no service, why would you talk to them? So there is a bit of a cycle to break here and a need to adopt a new approach for how we interact with our customers and also with our sales teams. Another example is growth hacking. What is growth hacking? So growth hacking refers to a set of both conventional and unconventional marketing experiments designed to lead to a business growth. So again, set of conventional and unconventional marketing experiments. You can only imagine how those unconventional marketing experiments sit with our legal, risk, corporate affairs, processes and procedures. So how do we address that? Well, first of all, it's not about us and them. It's not about the old and the new. It's about taking people on the journey. Some people, different people react differently to change. Some people get excited by it. Some people shy away from it. Find those people who get excited by the change. Educate them. Turn them into advocates, into champions within their business units. Then create a bit of a network, a movement of people who get what you're trying to do and can help you drive the change within the organisation. Another example there, we have a young lawyer in our legal team who is very passionate about innovation. And he's been our champion back into the legal team, helping us smooth some of those legal-related hurdles. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a taste for some of the challenges that we're facing. Yeah. No matter what initiatives you do in the organisation to drive innovation, whether it's setting up a startup accelerator, a VC fund, an innovation team, key is to have an overarching vision and a goal, and ensure that all those activities are aiming towards that goal. In other words, have a coordinated approach rather than a scattergun approach to building a systematic innovation capability. I thought I'll finish with a question that I'm often being asked, and that is, what can leaders do to support innovation? So I thought I'll leave you with some thoughts on that, some of which we touched on today. First one, leaders must be open to embrace new ways of working so they can achieve different outcomes. And importantly, support their teams in doing so. Second one, which we touched on, is adopt that think big, start small, scale fast mindset. Third one is support and champion diversity of all kinds, so you can achieve diversity of thoughts and ideas. Third one is to shift the mindset from being a know-it-all leader to being an ask-it-all leader. Learn to ask the right questions. And we've heard some great leaders like Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, talk about that recently. And last but not least, take a long-term view and a commitment to innovation. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes time, effort, and commitment to build a long-term sustainable innovation capability that will help you take your business forward. Thank you.